That thing is heavy. Looks like it's in good shape. I've had trouble getting things delivered in the past where they're dented and broken and scratched and all that other kind of good stuff, but it seems to be in good shape. Cold in there. All right, are you ready? We're gonna take a bunch of stuff we have around and freeze dry it. We're gonna freeze dry whatever I can find.
That seems to be your plan.
It's a good plan. Jelly beans, Skittles. You can't freeze dry nerds. That's ridiculous. All right, we have a banana that was a couple bananas, about 3 bananas actually, that were about to go bad. We've got an apple. We've got a bunch of Easter candy that we want to mess around with. Gummy bears, what is this stuff? Rainbow rope. Skittles, some jelly beans, some of these little like Tootsie Roll fruit flavored chews, some Starburst. Let's throw it in there, see what happens. So these were the gummy bears, so try that big puffy one. Oh my gosh, it's like a potato chip. Okay, try one of the Skittles. No way. And what about the fruit? Did it come out like candy? Let me try one. Yeah, it's like
The banana's really good.
apples are good. Wow, it's really sweet. Banana chips. But they're better because they're not super crunchy, like they're not hard like the dehydrated ones. They're just like air. It's just like, it's like a cheese puff or something. A banana flavored cheese puff. A freeze dried Skittle.
It explodes.
It's amazing. This used to be a gummy bear. That's crazy. It just like evaporates in your mouth. Starburst. Oh, hard. That is weird. That was good though. All right, it's time to do something more useful than Skittles and candy. So we have clean trays here, and I've got about 2 dozen eggs that I have kind of mildly scrambled. So we'll do 2 trays with these. They say the thinner it is, the better, but you can fill it up with liquids all the way up to the edge. And then in the last tray, we'll do sour cream. So you can do milk, you can do dairy products, you can do liquids, you can do soups. Obviously, we can do any kind of produce from the garden or anything like that. And basically, this is gonna preserve this in a state that can keep for an extremely long time. It also saves space because you're taking all the water out of it, and you can store it in much smaller containers. And then just to practice freeze drying some vegetables, once we get our garden harvest in, I could shred carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, onions, all that kind of stuff, peas, beans, and that kind of stuff can all be freeze dried also. And then, or you can make it into fresh soups and other types of things, and then freeze dry the finished product after you put everything together. And then all you got to do is just add water and reheat it. You're ready to eat. So. All right, it's been in there for 24 hours, and I didn't get to it right away, and so it goes into a deep freeze after it's done. And this is what we end up with. These are the carrots. They're light as a feather. They feel like I don't know. They feel like air, just completely void of water. Super light. The sour cream is just going to turn into powder. Just completely dry. And then the eggs, same thing. This is almost 30 eggs. I think this is 26 eggs that is in here. But you can get quite a bit in here. I would say more than a dozen per tray. And I could have filled this up a little bit more than I did probably. All you need to do to use these is we'll just add water to this powder. And it says about 2 tablespoons of this mixture mixed with 2 tablespoons of water will make up to 1 egg. So that's what it equals. And so you can just take this powder out, mix it with water, and then go ahead and make, fry that up, cook it up, and make an omelet. So same thing with the sour cream. In order to use this, we would just take some of this powder out and mix it with a little bit of water, or you can use this right in recipes as a dry ingredient. You just add it into the recipe in place of sour cream. And of course, you'd have to add a little bit of extra water into the recipe as well. And same thing with these carrots. These can be rehydrated just by leaving them out with a little bit of humidity, misting them with a sprayer or something like that. And then these can be used fresh, or these can be cooked into some kind of recipe. And so let's get these preserved. So what we're going to do is we've got these Harvest Right Mylar bags. We're also going to be adding an oxygen absorber to each one of these bags, and this will take out any extra oxygen in the bags and allow this stuff to last. So I'm told up to 25 years this can sit on a shelf and still be good when we want to use it. So we've got some food that has been freeze dried, but what's the point of all this? What is this thing and what's the purpose? So this is a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and that we've been using here. And basically what this does is it's kind of like dehydrating, but on another level. It uses a vacuum system as well as periods of freezing and warming to extract like every single bit of moisture out of just about anything that can permeate moisture. So things like grapes, you'd want to cut in half so it allows the moisture to get out, and tomatoes and other things like that. But basically any kind of food item you can freeze dry in here, and candy as well. So for us, one of the biggest reasons why we wanted this was so that we could preserve food. Obviously, we're not going to be going to space, and so we don't necessarily need astronaut food, but for us to preserve food that we have in abundance, you know, a lot of times our gardens come in and we've got tons of stuff. And so what we do is we spend a ton of time canning and doing all these kinds of things. Canning is a great way to preserve food too, but this is a longer shelf life and it actually is cheaper. It requires, you know, all those glass jars and things like that, although you can reuse them, that stuff can get pretty expensive. You got to buy new lids every year. Water bath canning and pressure canning, you know, it's a process. This you can actually save a lot more food in a lot less space, and it lasts a lot longer. And so for us, especially with eggs, you could buy meat on sale. You could go to this, you know, even go to like you pick apple places or blueberry farms or whatever, get tons of fruit, get tons of produce and other kinds of things at farmers market, and then you can take it through this process and freeze dry it, pack it in these little Mylar bags. Those little oxygen absorber goes in there so that it makes sure that there's no oxygen, nothing that could, you know, grow any bacteria or anything. And most foods are good for 15, 20, 25 years plus. Obviously, you've got a very small space that this takes up. It sucks all that moisture out, and you could pack. This is about a dozen eggs in one of these packages. We could easily put 2 dozen in one of these packages, and obviously you could store these in a pantry, in a box, in a bin. Everything's labeled, and you've got yourself an easy way to preserve food. Now, another cool thing you can do with this that we're going to start to get into is preserving more real food. So you can actually cook full meals like pastas and spaghettis and soups and chilies and all that kind of stuff. You fill up those trays full of chili, full of spaghetti, full of soups, and all these different things that you can make with your produce, and you can freeze dry it in a cooked, ready-to-eat state. And then all you need to do is just add hot water to it, warm it up, and it's ready to eat. Obviously, anything that's uncooked, like eggs, or, you know, we did raw eggs here, raw meat, you can dehydrate, all that kind of stuff. Anything that you freeze dry raw needs to be rehydrated and then cooked. So for instance, our eggs, all you need to do with this is take 2 tablespoons of the egg powder, mix with 2 tablespoons of water, and that equals 1 egg. And so you take that and mix up a few of them with water, and then make omelets or make scrambled eggs or whatever you want with it. So it would still need to be cooked. Things like dairy products, obviously, you could do milk. Pour milk in there, dehydrate a bunch of milk, it becomes powder, pack it away in here, and then you could use that. You just mix it with water, rehydrate it, and then drink it, and you have milk. So it's a cool way to preserve tons of food for long-term food preparation, food storage, and just a way to deal with food when you have an abundance of harvest during different times of the year. Obviously here in Michigan, we have the summer 3 or 4 months where we're gonna grow all of our food for the year, and we need to find ways to preserve that. So this is just another way that you can do that, and really kind of the ultimate way. This hasn't been available to people in their homes for very long. Most of the time you had to buy this stuff, you know, you couldn't freeze dry at home. And so it's pretty cool that you can actually, they have several different sizes of units. They have small, medium, this is the medium unit, I think. They have bigger ones too. And now you can do this at home, which is a game changer for homesteading and preppers and just really everyday people that are looking to save their harvest and preserve their food to be used throughout the year. So I think one of the most popular things we'll probably be freeze drying would be fruit. And they've got a bunch of pictures of strawberries and blueberries and stuff on here. That fruit that we freeze dried was awesome. And so I think having a way to like take a bunch of strawberries, take a huge harvest of blueberries or apples, you know, slice that stuff up and freeze dry it, put it in these packages, or you can just put it right in mason jars and just keep it on the counter and just take those things as snacks. So this will work great for camping, for hiking, and all that kind of stuff too. You could freeze dry meals, you can freeze dry fruit, you can freeze dry snacks, throw those, you know, in these bags. It's super light. Throw it in a backpack and just go, and then you've got probably all the meals that you need for a couple days you could fit in a backpack easily with this process. So let me know what you guys think. Freeze drying at home, making space food, astronaut food. We want to do ice cream. We're going to get some ice cream and try that. We're going to try making powdered milk. We're going to try a bunch of other stuff we haven't tried yet. And so this will be showing up in lots of future videos. We'll let you know how things go. I'm also going to do a video on cooking this stuff. So let's rehydrate some things. And does it taste as good as it did when we started, or is it worse? It's supposed to be better than canning as far as preserving nutrients and consistency and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll put it to the test and see how it turns out. So stick around for future videos on the freeze dryer. We'll have lots more coming out on that. Of course, hit thumbs up on today's video. Just reach down and tap thumbs up. And if this is your first time here, of course, subscribe and hit that little bell so that you get notified when we post new content. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.